The topic is reproduction. Specifically, the total reproductive process, actually the total one is the plant reproductions, and ultimately the plant reproductions will be classified according to their process. It will be classified in normally in natural way. These are classified at first the sexual part of reproductions, then the second one is the part of asexual reproductions, and then the third one, that is the according to the mechanism or according to the different process, these are classified into third one, that is vegetative. And lastly is also differentiate as a parthenogenesis, or as well as is called the in unfertilized egg. Unfertilized eggs are classified, it will be differentiate into a new one. So that means the reproduction means it will create from progeny or the parental cell to the new offspring or new daughter cell. So ultimately the total part of the reproductions, these are classified into four options. Sexually reproduced, so many living organisms are sexually reproduced, so many living organisms are asexually reproduced, so many are vegetative, as well as some exceptional conditions are parthenogenesis. So specifically some animals or some plants, they reproduce sexually, asexually, as well as vegetative in three options also. So first one, that is the sexual reproductions. In case of sexual reproductions, if we distinguish the part of sexual reproductions, this will be differentiated into two categories. Firstly, there is the syngamy. These are the options of the syngamy. And another one is also known as, the another options is called conjugations. So particularly if you notice the pathway of the conjugations, or if you notice the pathway of the syngamy, these are classified into two different characteristic or two different criteria. Ultimately the first one, that is the syngamy. Syngamy also differentiate into two. These are isogamy. The first one, there is the isogamy, and the second one, these are called heterogamy. So ultimately in case of isogamy, iso means equal, that is iso means equal. Iso means equal, means the equal gametes. Iso, the meaning of the iso, that means equal. There is the equal gamete. Equal gamete in that sense, both the gametes, if you notice the diagram, both the gametes are originally and both the gametes are structurally, both are same in nature, and according to their structure both are capable to move, that means they are motile in nature. Then the second one is hetero, and the meaning of the heterogamy, hetero means is a different, and in that formations hetero means is a different or unequal. In case of unequal gamete, they are again classified into three categories. Firstly, anisogamy. First one, these are the anisogamy. Then the second one is called oogamy, and the last one is called hologamy. So ultimately you distinguish the different process. It will be classified into three options: anisogamy, oogamy, and hologamy. And again hologamy also classified into two. These are endogamy as well as exogamy. That means if you distinguish the endogamy, that means those gametes are formed internal part of the body, they are called endogamy. And if you distinguish the exogamy, it is also that type of gametes are formed in outside the body, these are called exogamy. So ultimately if you distinguish the different types of gamete, gamy means is a marriage, and syn means is a different types of unit, and according to the unit these are classified firstly iso as well as hetero. And in case of isogamy, here you notice the isogamy, both the gametes are equally arised, both the gametes are equally origin, as well as their formations is same, their structure is same, and both are capable to move. Then the second one, aniso means unequal, and again the unequal one is differentiated as far as aniso. And the second one is also called oogamy. So specifically in case of normal conditions, like those are lower invertebrates, so many example like some fungi or biophytes or pteridophytes, in their gametes are two different way. Firstly female gametes, and the second one, these are the male gamete. But if you just notice the male gamete and female gamete, in case of female gamete is a larger one, but it will be capable to move, that means flagella will be present. And if you notice the male gamete also, the flagella will be present, that means both are motile in nature. But if you distinguish the structure, in case of female the gamete is a larger, and in case of male these are the smaller. Then the next one is called oogamy. Specifically the oogamy, oo means egg, and here the higher vertebrates like human, also like amphibians, like birds, like fishes, as well as reptiles also, their gamete formation is called gametogenesis. Their gamete formation is called gametogenesis. And specifically if you notice the gamete formations, The gamete formations are classified into two different types. Firstly, the gametogenesis, and in case of gametogenesis it will be again classified into two options. Sometimes the formations of the sperm, that means the sperm formation is called, in case of sperm formation, this one is called spermatogenesis. The sperm formation is called spermatogenesis, and in case of ova formations, the ova formation is called oogenesis. So ultimately, if you distinguish the gametogenesis, these are classified into two options, the spermatogenesis as well as oogenesis. Here, if you just notice the oogamy process, in case of oogamy, here the gamete, this is the larger one, the gamete is a larger gamete, and this gamete is a non-fertile, that means not non-motile, that means they are not capable to move because without flagella. And here you notice the male gamete is a smaller, and it will be a presence of flagella, that means it will be capable to move. So these are the different types of gamete. Then the next one, the another criteria of the sexual reproduction, these are conjugations, and conjugations specifically found in some lower individuals like Spirogyra, like some bacteria as well as some fungi also. And here we observe that, here we also view that the two different types of individual, like this one F1 and the another one is F plus. In case of F minus, it acts as a female, that gamete act as a female, and in case of F plus, this gamete act as a male. That means those are contained with a extracircular DNA, and this extracircular DNA, this one is called plasmid. The extracircular DNA is known as plasmid. And in case of bacterial cell, it also contained a genome, and that genome specifically is known as genophore as well as nucleoid. This one is called genophore or nucleoid. And during the time of conjugations, both the bacterial cell came together and they form a tube-like structure, and this tube-like structure is known as conjugating tube, and conjugating tube is helpful for transfer the genetic material. Here the plasmid at first replicate, then it transferred to the male to female body, and here the F minus after transforming the genetic material, F minus is converted to F plus. So here the number of individuals not increases, but the characteristics will be changed. That means F minus female, the female one, it automatically convert to male one. The female one is automatically convert to male one. That means here the reproduction means not only increase the number, reproduction not means to multiply their individuals. Here reproduction means also change the character. So ultimately, in case of sexual reproductions, at first again I repeat, in case of sexual reproductions, specifically the reproductions are classified into 4 different ones, but today we discuss about only the sexual reproduction. Sexual reproductions are classified syngamy as well as conjugation. So syngamy again differentiate according to the structure iso and hetero, and iso means equal and hetero means unequal. Then the heterogamy also differentiate aniso as well as oogamy as well as hologamy, and hologamy also differentiate according to their formations, is called endo and exogamy. So ultimately there are so many different types of gamete, and according to their formations, according to their process of fertilizations, they are classified into different way, as well as in case of conjugations. And conjugation is another part of sexual reproduction, is also reproduced into 2 completely different options. Both the individuals came together, they form a tube, and that tube is helpful to transfer their genetic material, and they change their character. Here not the number will be increases. So reproduction not mean increase the number, reproduction also change the character. So many advantage as well as disadvantage is present in sexual reproduction. In case of sexual reproduction, it will be completely dependent on partner. Here gamete is a most of the important one, because gamete is a unit, and without gamete the reproduction is not possible. So gamete is the most important one, and the gamete formations will be depend on so many factors like hormone, like temperature, like environmental conditions, as well as it will be totally depend on the parent, as well as so many these are the disadvantage as well as advantage. Here the huge variations will be created, and all of the variations will be helpful to adapt in new environment, adapt to create new species, and they change their character. So ultimately today we discuss about the sexual reproduction. In next class we discuss the asexual as well as vegetative and parthenogenesis. Thank you.